likelihood, do you think, of this following the similar path that we saw in Northern Ireland?
Well, first of all, my problem with Tony Blair putting aside his record as a war criminal with this analogy to Ireland is, in the case of Ireland, you don't have a dispute about the recognition of people's right to self-determination. That sort of underpins the conflict. There's an awareness there that in Ireland that the people of Northern Ireland are a people who have certain rights. In the case of Palestine, as we're discussing here, what I'm hearing from Mark and Shabbos is a complete lack of awareness. The Palestinians are living under a brutal military occupation. Either you recognize that or you don't. If you don't recognize that, you're going to have continued disaster for the entire region and continued misery, foremost for the Palestinian people. If you recognize, as most of the world does, pretty much the entire world, with the exception of the US and Israel, the Palestinians have been living under one of the most brutal, longest military occupations in the world and have been denied their basic rights. If you don't recognize that, you're not going to solve the problem. And Trump's so-called peace plan does nothing to address that. When it comes to the issue of Palestinian self-determination and Palestinian statehood, there's one line. It says, we recognize Palestinian self-determination and statehood as the aspiration of the Palestinian people. If you recognize something as an aspiration, but not as a right, you have no obligation to grant it. And the message from Israel, if you listen to Netanyahu, is that there will be no recognition. And he has the full backing of the US in that. And that's not just a Trump thing. This has been bipartisan US policy for decades to reject the one thing that could solve all this is grant Palestinians their minimal right to freedom. And so in that context, people want to make this about Hamas and how they have no right to be there. This isn't about Hamas. Even if Palestinians are the most pragmatic, docile people in the world, Israel would still insist, as they always have, on their self-declared right to steal their land because it's a Jewish supremacist state. Until that's resolved, you're going to have perpetual conflict. And just one correction on the issue of whether there could have been a deal. After October 7th, Hamas offered Israel to release all the civilian captives in exchange for Israel not attacking Gaza. Israel had no interest in that because October 7th gave them the opportunity to take care of the Gaza problem, as Norman Finkelstein has talked about on your show before. Destroying Gaza, expelling as many people as possible. That's why Israel abandoned its own captives. And that's why, and Anna was correct to say, there was a deal on the table well over a year ago. Israeli negotiator Gershon Baskin, who has years of contacts with Hamas, he's confirmed this. Hamas accepted the exact same deal that was just accepted now.
But the truth, I mean, you talk about a brutal occupation, and I don't disagree, but there's also been a brutal occupation of the Palestinian people by Hamas themselves. They were given governance in 2006, they won the election, but for the next 20 years, rather than try and bring any kind of change or prosperity to its people, it built one of the biggest underground tunnel networks in the world has ever seen, frankly, in modern times, and planned an outrageous terror attack on a horrific scale, with 3,000 of them pouring over the border and indiscriminately murdering and kidnapping anyone can get their hands on. Now, that you know, if you look at the way they're treating Palestinian people throughout the last 20 years, if you look at the way they have sacrificed Palestinian lives so brazenly and callously as they themselves ran to hide in their tunnels, leaving civilians to be murdered and to be killed, then, you know, you could argue the brutal occupation has worked with both. You could say, yeah, the Israelis have had a brutal form of occupation over the Palestinians, but so has Hamas.
I see things differently, Piers. Hamas won the elections, you're correct. What happened immediately? Israel put Gaza under a complete siege, to the point where Israel was counting the calories inside Gaza that it would let every Palestinian in Gaza consume without having a full-blown starvation crisis. The idea was basically to punish the Palestinian people for voting the wrong way, for electing Hamas. And why did they elect Hamas? Is because the alternative was the Palestinian Authority, which is corrupt and had become a collaborator with Israel in the farce of the so-called peace process, which was simply just an excuse for Israel to steal more Palestinian land. So in that context, Palestinians elected Hamas. Israel responded by putting Gaza under a complete siege, where Gaza had absolutely no hope to rebuild. Israel was in control of everything that came in and out, even banning things like chocolate. Hamas tried to actually moderate its position. And people laugh at this, but you can look at the record. It's true. And someone like Gershon Baskin, who's an Israeli negotiator, can confirm all this. Hamas leaders started talking about accepting a long-term truce with Israel. Then they started even saying we'd accept a Palestinian state.
Disclaimer. The views and opinions expressed on this panel show are those of the individual speakers and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of this channel, its affiliates, sponsors, or production team. This content is intended for informational and entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. We encourage respectful dialogue and critical thinking around the topics discussed.
Party. Why I like the new party? Number one, it's a group of people that's on a panel. We all have differences, but we all basically still come together at the end of the day. The new party for me is about unity. The new party for me is about educating people to the truth, letting people know what's been going on in our country. With that being said, shout out to the new party, man. We're going to keep it going with y'all.
Welcome to the new party. I'm Nora Christine.
I'm Gray Mars.
I'm Kamal.
I'm Mia.
I'm Kim.
And we have a new addition to the new party team, Kimberly. Kim, let everybody know where they can find you and how you feel about joining the team.
I'm mostly on Instagram. I love the discussion. I have discussions with people every day without necessarily arguing. So I really like your guys' point of view too. So I appreciate you guys for inviting me on.
Thank you, Kim. And actually, I'm going to let you speak first tonight. What do you think about the clip we just saw? And I just want to start by, I was excited about the peace deal. And then I was like, why isn't the left happy? Why isn't the pro-Gaza people happy? And then today, breaking news, Israel has officially broke the peace deal, where they opened fire on suspects in northern Gaza who allegedly crossed the boundary established as part of the ceasefire pullback. Gaza health authorities have reported 6 Palestinians killed in 2 separate incidents. So what peace deal? Will there be everlasting peace between Israel and Gaza, Kim?
I love that you opened with Aaron Mate. I saw that whole interview, and every time Aaron Mate is on Pierce, I'll watch it. He explains it very eloquently, and I think it's in that same part right there that you were playing, where after he explains how even under the Bill Clinton administration, Israeli officials even after came back and said that at that time, the Palestinians were right to even reject that deal during the Bill Clinton administration. And it's how he explained it at the very beginning. Israel won't give Palestine the right to self-determination because they don't want Palestine to have that. What they want is to take over the land. They also want parts of greater Israel, which includes Lebanon and parts of Syria and Jordan as well, I believe. That's their goal. That's why they're over here trying to sell parts of Gaza like real estate. And I saw a lot of happiness, especially with the release of the hostages on both sides. It's very heartwarming. Reminds me of our humanity when I see things like that. But it was expected, at least, that Israel wouldn't abide by phase 2 of the peace deal, because that's what they've always done.
Feels like Groundhog Day, but I have this other clip that I want Mia to respond to. This was a video that AIPAC has released. This is their America First version of what AIPAC is.
But AIPAC.
Today, AIPAC.
On Capitol Hill, AIPAC
Israel, supporting life-saving security assistance, confronting Iran and its
And no, before you guys ask in the chat, we were not given $7,000. But hey, APAC, we could take that money, honey. I played the video in full. We about to be fair. I gave y'all 5 minutes with y'all propaganda. Mia, what do you think about the video? Is it pro Israel first, America first? This was the video in their response to how they could be more America first. This was their propaganda. I mean, video that they put out regarding it.
First and foremost, I am not being paid by any side. I am still broke like I was yesterday and today. Nothing has changed. I am not collecting any cheddar from any of these people. My opinion is my own. And to be honest, I think that commercial of sorts is the best thing they could have done, because now it literally gives credence to the foreign registry. Like, these people keep trying to convince us that they don't need to register as a foreign agent through the Registration Act. But that right there tells me you are legitimately working on behalf of a foreign country, that you've admitted to working on behalf of a foreign country to strengthen ties between a foreign country and the United States. That legitimately is the perfect example, the perfect propaganda for these people to have to register as foreign agents under the Registration Act from 1938. I mean, it legit, they admit to working for foreign agents to try to strengthen ties between a foreign government to us. So why have we not forced these people to register?
And
that's my
just
question.
so everyone knows, she's referring to Farah. You might have heard it as Farah. That's the, but not, I guess, short term. This next clip was President Trump. Yo, President Trump be throwing low-key shade. I'm gonna have Gray respond to this.
Miriam, stand up, please. She really is. I mean, she loves this country. She loves this country. Her and her husband are so incredible. We miss him so dearly. But I actually asked her, I'm going to get her in trouble with this, but I actually asked her once, I said, so Miriam, I know you love Israel. What do you love more, the United States or Israel? She refused to answer. That might mean Israel, I must say. We love you. Thank you, darling, for being here. That's a great honor. Great honor. She's a wonderful woman.
So great. Can you be one country first and America first at the same time? This is not even an attack on the Israel first people, but can you be both countries? Like, what do you think?
I'm on the left, so I know that's really a right wing saying, but I would say just the vernacular. I don't think you can. I think it's only one thing to be first. But as far as that clip you played, Miriam Adelson, if people don't know, she is one of the people that gave the most money to Trump's campaign when he was running. So, I mean, of course, when she gave him that money, she most likely was doing it because she wanted Israel to get some type of benefits from that. I don't know if Trump is trying to like call her out and say, that they keep asking me for stuff. I don't know if you go play that clip about her husband kept asking him for stuff.
No, we gonna move on from this. We're not gonna live on this too long tonight, because at this point it's no peace. We're gonna keep seeing more children get unalived. What a fucking disappointment. Anyways, excuse my French. It's just a real big disappointment. All right, Kamal, this one's for you. This was some Black Hebrew Israelites debating a panel of Jewish rabbis and commentators, and I'm going to have you respond to this. This is where they're talking about the slave ships.
Jewish people had a hand in slavery too.
So did Black people.
My God. Africans did.
Africans did.
Africans.
Right. That is true.
I agree.
Like
listen, no white man went into a village. Africans brought them to the white man. I don't argue that. Like, I'm an honest historian. I ain't got to lie about it.
He's an honest historian you're talking to.
But it wasn't, I'm saying unfortunately, there were Jews involved, but it wasn't a
Jewish
thing.
Yeah. You insurance companies, the ships, you know why insurance companies started? Because slaves was cargo, and they wanted to get paid. if any of them slaves died on the way.
Why would you want to pay for one of them if you
so
don't
you got
receive
banks,
it? You pay for an Amazon package if you don't get it at your door?
One of the first Jewish slave masters was in North Carolina. Y'all was there too. That's why, you know what tripped me out? When white people want to be separate from Jewish people, y'all the same white man. The same. Y'all just the creme de la creme of that white man.
The most ridiculous. First of all, I'm not saying you are racist, but man, the way you talk is crazy.
Look up to us. Like I appreciate.
No, I'm not looking up to y'all at all.
No, it's
nice.
No, y'all the creme de la creme of your white tribes. That's what I'm saying. First of all, not me.
What people do now, for example, in Israel, is they're equating Israelis to the way that people want to put down white people in America, and they're saying that the Israelis and the Palestinians are like the poor brown people being oppressed.
Right.
If you went to Israel, you notice that most people who live in Israel migrated, right? There are people who are indigenous that we could trace back for thousands of years, and there are people who moved from Iran, Saudi Arabia. To say that Israelis are just the white strong
Israelis like him, you're saying?
is just a pure lack of knowledge.
Yeah. But you don't use that term
not
with you?
Israeli is not.
It just seems like a lot of angst and dislike toward other people coming from you, as opposed to, if you're saying that you are representing God, wouldn't that be more about inclusivity? Not
telling the truth is.
No,
sorry, go ahead, finish.
Everywhere in the Torah, when it talks about whenever God talks about people, there's a beautiful love between people. The utopian world, the messianic era. In the messianic era, if you want to know the messianic prophecies, for example, look at Ezekiel chapter 37, the Valley of the Dry Bones.
Right.
You'll see the messianic prophecies. But what are the things that you'll see? You'll see universal peace on earth. You'll see universal knowledge of God. We're talking about
not without war first, though.
Yeah. Well, that how it comes about is a debate.
It's war first
is a debate. But there are different opinions. One opinion is it's you against your own ego and overcoming your ego, because most bad things come from the ego. There are different interpretations of things. But when you look at things in terms of the Messianic era and things like this, it's all about peace, love, where Jewish people of all faiths, atheists, Muslims, Christians, we're all going to get along. It's going to be beautiful.
There's something called the uncomfortable truth, right? And so I know why when I'm saying the things that I'm saying and you say it comes across as racist.
Well, hold on. I want to move to the next topic.
So, Kamal, without being too controversial, what are your thoughts on the Black Hebrew Israelites and this debate that you just witnessed?
First of all, I wish Timu Carrot Top would shut the fuck up in the middle. God damn, he was trolling. He was making it hard to kind of, because it was a Black Hebrew Israelite and the other dude. They was having a conversation, and bruh kept trolling in. So it was kind of making it hard to kind of pay attention to it, though. But at the end of the day, basically what the black brother was saying was that, hey, you Jewish motherfuckers was part of the slave trade too. And I'll be tired of this shit where people be like, oh, Jewish supremacy. And it's white Jews, bro. Okay? And y'all's part of the slave trade. Like, that was basically the premise of what bro was saying. He was like, the Africans brought, basically, it was prisoners of war, brought them over to y'all, and y'all were a part of the slave trade alongside with the other white supremacists, man. That's it. That's all I heard. And bro was on some old, oh, kumbaya, blah, blah, blah. We're all one. We're Captain Planet ass shit. What's up with all this babble, bro? Like, no, bro, like, own up to it, bro. Y'all, you know what I mean? The white Jews are part of the slave trade too. Like, that's all they saying.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, that's a little known history fact. We'll get into that another day. But we're going to switch gears here to Marjorie Taylor Greene. Will she be able to unite the left and the right? I'm going to let Kimberly get in first on this one.